Hi. I think I'm getting better at this. I know that we need to get time constraint on my side, so I bear with me as I learn, as I get better at this. Um, I want to talk to you today about the anger that's going on in our country. You would think after experiencing the elections that we had, and the society, the issues with society today, you would think that we'd start trying to find ways to come together rather than find more ways to be apart. But I would direct you towards the book of Lamentations, a very obscure book in the Old Testament that speaks to lamenting, in how God has for us to lament, not the way society, and specifically the U.S., has instructed or brainwashed us into doing so. Our society is now taken has bypassed the process of grieving for our lost ones, for losing a job, for for a relationship ending, for any number of things that affect us day to day. In Lamentations, in the first chapter, you can see where the process of grieving and not being heard is so powerful. And so how do we use that today? Well, I would submit to you that I heard recently statistics that 1 out of every 3 black men, I think under the age of 30, is in jail. And what that equates to is 65% of all black children are in a single parent home. How about 90% of all black children are without a father? Now, if that's not cause for us to pause, and I don't know what the numbers are in the other ethnicities, but I would wager that it's getting worse instead of better as our prison population breaks 2 million. I mean, when's enough enough? When are we going to say, this is broken, but not broken in the sense that it's your fault, but it's broken in the sense that it's broken, and let's come together and figure out a way to fix it. The process in which we experience grief, loss, needs to be worked out. It needs to be experienced so that whatever's next can be released. And so, why is it that we're in a society, we've become a society of denial. And in that denial, it's become an idol. And as we make that an idol, or worse, how about that we've become so dependent on technology or innovation or our own ingenuity that, whatever the problem is today, like the economy crashing, well, we'll figure it out. Well, we're not. We're not figuring it out. We're just in this circle. And the reality is, we're so wrapped up in trying to point fingers at people. Oh, it's the government's fault. No, the government's not doing enough. No, it's bankers' fault. No, it's the corporations. No, it's these people getting bonuses. It's blah, blah, blah. It's my boss because they fired me. It's my old company. They won't give me a promotion. How about lamenting with your Father in heaven? How about taking this to where it needs to go and not just spewing it out in anger? I mean, the reality is, if I can't reconcile the fact that I have a brother in heaven named Jesus and that he loves me, if I can't figure this thing out that's so clear and simple that my heavenly Father wants the very best for me, well then, how am I going to love somebody else? How am I going to relate to somebody else? If my willingness, if I have no willingness to embrace the love that's unconditional from a higher being, from the creator of all the universe, who wants to be my Father, my heavenly Father, then how am I going to relate to someone who's different than me, like my wife, or a friend, or the brother from the same mother, or an enemy? How am I ever going to relate? Look, I think rap music, and I believe this, that rap music is a byproduct of a culture who has been lamenting and no one's been hearing them. And now they're angry. And they're saying, hear us. We're not looking for you to fix it all, but hear our pain. Hear what's going on. Look, we hear a lot of answers. Everyone has answers, but I don't hear any solutions. And those answers are definitely not turning into solutions, whether it's economic, geopolitical, societal, sociological, whatever. Everything that's important is falling apart. And why is that? As I check my time, why is that? Maybe it's because we're viewing things from a transactional viewpoint rather than a Trinitarian viewpoint. Maybe it's because I think that God is a divine accountant, and up there he's saying, well, oh, you did something wrong there, I got to debit you there, or debit you there, and then, oh, you did something right there, we'll credit you here. And we think he's keeping score. But maybe that's not even right. Maybe that's so far from right. Maybe that's because he's Trinitarian and he loves me completely. He's my Father in heaven, and he's down there saying, if you would only listen to me, commune with me, if you'd only allow me to love on you, then you will learn through that hope. You'll learn how to not be about yourself all the time. You'll learn how to give, and give freely, not give in a sense that, well, if I gave, what am I going to get in return? If we can move away from a transactional viewpoint, maybe I won't look to my wife and say, well, next time I do that, I want you to do this. Or I'm not doing that because you haven't done this. Or next time that someone invites us over to dinner, I don't quickly think, oh my gosh, what are we going to do in return? When can we invite them over? Because all those things are stemmed out of guilt, out of a burden, because it's transactional. And everything that's going on, I believe, right now in our society is because of a transactional viewpoint. But if we can take a Trinitarian viewpoint, how honest could that be? How sincere, how moving, how genuinely loving could that be? And the impact from it. If I truly want to go visit people I don't even know in prison and genuinely sow into them, genuinely care, genuinely take an interest in them, what could it mean? What impact could that have? Look, it's commonly heard that children and prisoners, you know what, they can figure out if you're genuine or if you're real, and they'll call you on it. I think this is another word for hypocrite, isn't it? Another a hypocritical viewpoint, or another filter to figure out what's hypocritical. And I say we need to stop, letting them have the only ability to do that. We need to stop playing religion. I mean, look, Jesus didn't come here so that we could be called Christians. He didn't come here so that we wouldn't be persecuted. He didn't come here so that everyone could hate each other and be angry and be upset with everyone. He came so that there be restoration. He came to model a life that said, look, in love, all these things happen. So we need to stop playing the role. We need to stop being religious for acceptance sake. It's time to allow folks to grieve. It's time to help. It's time to sow into people. And it's time to share this grief so that you can be transparent. So if you're suffering, share it. Not share it in the sense that, I want you to fix it, or I want you to do something about it, or I want you to feel guilty. But share it so that people can relate to you. And in that relation, you'll become transparent. And in transparency comes unity, and in unity comes strength and release of supernatural power. So love on some folks for a change. Give it a try. I challenge you to try to build a foundation that says, I want to receive love from my Father in heaven. That he's not a God, that he wants to do things to me, but that he wants to do things for me. So give that a try. And I'll talk to you soon.